When we took office a mere 15 months ago, none of us could have imagined that we would be holding this meeting virtually instead of at Old City Hall. This past year, our city has had to overcome unexpected challenges due to COVID-19. But as you just saw, we've also achieved so much together despite every obstacle. And this is just the beginning. Fighting COVID and protecting the health, safety, and lives of our community has dramatically changed not only the issues that we face as a city today and how we tackle them, but it has given new urgency to dealing with the greatest challenges that we have encountered for years. I know that the past few months haven't been easy for many in our community, but that's why this budget is so valuable. This is an opportunity for us to invest back in our community through quality services that will lift up every neighborhood to ensure that we can come out of this crisis stronger than ever before. Despite the challenges of recent months, I am optimistic and hopeful for our city's future as I was when I gave this presentation last year, because Tampa is resilient. Prior to COVID-19, we started working with a group of internationally renowned resilience experts from the Resilient City Catalyst, a spinoff of the Rockefeller Foundation, to develop a resilience roadmap for the city of Tampa. Our goal was to prepare for shocks and stresses that disrupt any community from reaching its full potential. That ongoing effort is now more important than ever, and in the coming weeks, everyone in Tampa will be invited to contribute to that roadmap. A core part of building resilience is community spirit. When faced with hardships, we lean on each other and lift up our community together. But it's also due to our commitment to strong financial responsibility and planning ahead. Times like these remind us why it's critical that as a city, we practice good financial stewardship. Our taxpayers need to know that they can count on us to provide essential services, especially during a crisis, and this has been a true display of just that. When we began the process to develop the FY 2021 budget in February, we started with a budget that was balanced with a little over $1.2 million being returned to reserves. As I begin my discussion of the impacts of COVID-19, I want to make it clear that direct federal assistance to cover revenue loss is critical to Tampa and to all cities. The CARES Act provided significant support to the county, airport, HART, and our schools, but only one city in Florida qualified for funding based on its population of over 500,000 residents. While Congress intended for city funding to come through states and counties, it's clear that direct aid from the federal government is the only way to ensure that we have the support we need to recover from COVID. When faced with a revenue loss of nearly $24 million due to COVID-19, we worked together to restructure existing debt to address this shortfall, and for that, I thank you. As a result of our responsible budgeting philosophy and the actions we've taken, we have mitigated to the best of our ability the impacts of COVID-19 on the FY 2021 budget. For example, we faced and are still facing decreases in many of our main revenues, including sales taxes, electric franchise fees, electric utility taxes, and business taxes. So to develop a balanced budget in 2021, we scrubbed our numbers to reduce expenditures, proposing more than $12 million in reductions. Despite the setbacks of COVID-19, I am so proud of all the great things our city has accomplished. When kids had no place else to go this summer, Tampa Parks and Rec adapted summer camps to increase safety measures and offer a safe place for our youth to learn and play. It also provided much-needed relief for parents and guardians and enabled many of them to rejoin the workforce. When COVID-19 caused many of our local businesses to shut down, we launched One Tampa to lift them back up. And once they began reopening responsibly, we introduced the Lift Up Local program enabling restaurants and retail shops to easily expand into outdoor space to offset their capacity limits and give them more space to serve customers safely. Our hardworking team has always stepped up across all departments to serve our community. And that leads me to my next topic, which concerns a city department that all of you know is very close to my heart, having spent more than 30 years serving alongside them. I have no doubt that our police department is the best in the United States. I can say this based on 3 specific value-based reasons. First is that over the past 17 years, we have worked hard to forge police community trust, which shows itself in the over 1 million calls for service in and out of our 911 Public Safety Center. This collaborative partnership with our community and the police department is the reason that Tampa has lowered the crime rate by 80% as of the last year and is over 50% lower than the average of the other major cities in Florida. By making Tampa safer, officers have helped pave the way for our city's economic success and improve the quality of life for Tampa residents. Second, as the population in Tampa has increased, crime has dramatically decreased. Officers have worked with community members to make this one of the safest cities in the nation. In addition, the deployment of officers has been strategically balanced over the years to give the same high level of service to each neighborhood and align the officer-to-citizen ratio. We are not going to defund the police. I'm not saying this out of pride or arrogance because we still have more work to do. I'm saying it because of the value of this high level of service that is virtually unmatched for similar cities. We will focus on investing, not divesting, to increase training for police and all city departments. We will invest in providing quality of life services that are key to transforming Tampa's tomorrow. Our citywide strategy will focus on lifting up neighborhoods with improved housing, mobility, infrastructure, and workforce. This will improve service, strengthen our communities, and reduce the over-reliance on our police, who are already asked and tasked to do too much. As we grow as a community, our hope is that we have fewer car crashes, overdoses, domestic disputes, less runaways and missing person searches, high-risk mental illness calls, and homeless outreach, all of which happen around the clock and in every neighborhood. Our highest priority calls are typically dispatched within 94 seconds, and officers are on the scene within minutes. Based on lean operating costs with officers assigned evenly throughout the city, a reduction in the number of police officers could impact any neighborhood at any hour of the day and place this high level of service in tremendous jeopardy. In order to build that brighter future for all, we recognize that social action and arts have value. The city provides more than $1 million per year to about 24 smaller nonprofits, which are largely committed to improving quality of life in the social arts sectors of our community. While this is a good thing to do, especially now when so many are so financially challenged, in the coming year, we will introduce a new level of strategic accountability to accomplish 2 goals. First, we are committed to exercising financial responsibility for every single taxpayer dollar and must ensure that we achieve appropriate outputs and outcomes from these organizations, while also encouraging the use of other fund sources such as grants. Second, by increasing accountability for all fund recipients, the city can seek to support additional nonprofit organizations. For fiscal year 2021, we are proposing to maintain the commitments made to these organizations in the prior year. However, moving forward, we will monitor performance and quarterly funding will be dependent on each organization achieving its objectives and outcomes. Despite the financial impact of COVID-19, our city has remained steadfast in its commitment to strong fiscal stewardship. Last year, we presented the first budget starting in the black since the Great Recession. And this year, we received a AAA bond rating for the city's water and wastewater systems from Moody's, S&P, and Fitch. Our fiscal responsibility has positioned us to better face the challenges ahead, none of which we could have predicted. Our stable financial outlook, reflected by these strong ratings, are the result of a decade of hard work and ingenuity, which we will continue to maintain every year. As part of our strategic core, we strive to responsibly manage the city's financial resources by keeping expenses in line with recurring revenues and maintaining high credit ratings to ensure low borrowing costs. The city will also maintain strong reserves and fund balances for unforeseen needs and emergencies, something we are all too familiar with in recent months. We also want to continue planning ahead and preparing for the city's financial future by adjusting rates, fees, and charges necessary to reflect the cost of services and inflation. We will develop and maintain long-range forecast models to ensure we are budgeting effectively for our growing city as we work to transform Tampa's tomorrow. To achieve our vision, we will also collaborate with regional agencies and external partners, as well as the private sector, to finance major projects and ensure a financially sustainable Tampa. Our city is on the rise, and as we keep growing, we need to ensure we're building a stronger city from the ground up, and that includes investing in our city infrastructure. The city will leverage investments in technology to move toward a more sustainable workforce that is safe and secure, and we will prepare sound maintenance and replacement programs for city equipment and assets, including buildings and vehicles. With this strategic core approach, I know that we can align our budgetary needs to meet our mission of delivering outstanding city services that enhance the quality of life within our community. The FY 2021 budget is nearly $1.3 billion, which is $212 million more than last year's budget. It provides funding for essential governmental services. However, we've also been able to include funds to start addressing several key requests from the community and from City Council. First is Fair Oaks Park, where we will start the process of programming and designing what the community wants at that park. We are committed to provide sufficient funds towards redeveloping this park to a cultural and athletic destination for East Tampa residents, young and young at heart. Second is Rivercrest Park, where we will replace and reinforce the seawall, construct boardwalks and a dock, and build sidewalks. In New Tampa, we will invest in developing an inclusive playground so that all of our community can take part in these amenities. And we will provide 12 additional staff for Rescue 16, which will provide service to East Tampa, and for Rescue 24, which will be assigned to Station 13. This funding will also include a new rescue squad. We will also invest in preserving and honoring our city's history. We will provide $150,000 to assist in saving the Jackson House and $50,000 for a Zion Cemetery memorial. We will also invest in our city's future by developing a climate action and equity plan focused on climate preparedness, energy efficiency, and environmental protection for all of our neighborhoods. It's also important that we enhance our employees' training, which is why we are setting aside funding for bias training for all city employees. And finally, the city has allocated $1 million to secure fire rescue self-contained breathing apparatus, better known to civilians as air tanks, and we hope to match that in September with grant funding. Other items to note about this budget: this is the 8th consecutive year that the city's property tax values have increased. This is advantageous to our residents and also helps to offset negative impacts we are experiencing to other revenue sources. This fiscal year, we will see PBA and IAFF members depart the city's health care program for their own health care trust. The city will continue our progressive health care program, which has resulted in reducing the percentage of claims filed compared to national averages. And to continue these trends, we are exploring launching a third CARE ATC clinic for city staff. The city's 2 pension programs are very well funded. The General Employees Pension Program is 88.3% funded, and the Fire and Police Pension is 94.5% funded. The city's long-term fiscally responsible budgeting practices resulted in 13 consecutive credit rating increases during the last administration. And maintaining that impressive track record, I am proud to announce that we achieved our first rating increase when Moody's recently awarded a AAA rating on our water and wastewater bonds. And the city is now one of only 2 localities in Florida which has a AAA rating from all 3 providers. Let me say that one more time. And the city is now one of only 2 localities in Florida which has a AAA rating from all 3 providers. We could not have achieved this without the commitment of 2 mayors and 2 city councils who had the vision and understanding that both the water and wastewater departments needed funds to fix and maintain our infrastructure. Our aim remains focused. We want to create a brighter future for all who live, work, and play in Tampa, shaping a stronger, more resilient city that can rise above the challenges and overcome any obstacle. A city that can keep up with its strategic growth, not stand in its way. Where no neighborhood is left behind and where everyone has a seat at the table. We know that many in our city are struggling across the community, and we want to work together to ensure we are lifting up local while reopening responsibly. To achieve our vision, we have identified 5 strategic goals that will guide us forward as we tackle the issues facing our city and transform Tampa's tomorrow for generations to come. The 5 strategic goals include strengthening community-centric services, enhancing workforce development, increasing housing affordability, improving infrastructure and mobility, establishing sustainability and resilience. The first prong of our strategic plan involves strengthening community services. Our primary function as local government is to meet the needs of our community, which is why this strategic goal is central to everything we do across departments. We strive to provide customer-centric quality services that make it easy for our community to interact with the city and to get the services they need. To enhance community-centric quality services, we plan to hire a community experience director that will help everyone navigate community services and experiences. We also want to ensure our customer experience is meeting the needs of everyone in our community by investing in software that will help us track and monitor the level of service we provide to residents and create an online platform to streamline access to city services. Lastly, we want to ensure we're reaching every neighborhood by strengthening our ability to connect City Hall to Tampa residents. To do so, we will enhance the work done by our neighborhood coordinators to facilitate communication and collaboration with community partners and neighborhood leaders to uplift and nurture communities across our city. Our second strategic goal is to enhance workforce development. Tampa's workforce is the backbone of our economy. It's what employs our family members, friends, and neighbors. It's what drives our city forward toward a brighter future. Now more than ever, we need to invest in our workforce to ensure our economy can bounce back from COVID-19 and our residents can continue working hard and dreaming big. It's my goal to build a city where hard work pays off and the middle class is within reach regardless of your zip code, where students can see a clear path toward a brighter future, and where anyone who sets their mind to it can enhance their skills through education and training. And once they have that diploma in hand or certification under the belt, a good paying job is waiting for them on the other side. To achieve this vision, we have to ensure job seekers have access to the resources necessary to succeed. and we need to connect employers with skilled workers. The first step is formulating a workforce community collaborative by working with partners like CareerSource and establishing a Mayor's Workforce Council. This council will help manage our talent pipeline by enhancing our workforce programs, working with some of the city's largest employers, and finding solutions to break down some of the existing barriers to employment. Next, we will also work with community partners to support and enhance a Pathways to Profession model that informs residents of career opportunities, training options, and community resources in Tampa's high-growth employment sectors. Lastly, to enhance workforce development, we will align educational resources to meet the needs of job seekers in our community. We want to uplift our youth and job seekers of all ages by empowering them to explore post-secondary education or skills training so that they can continue on a path toward a prosperous future. Tampa is a fast-growing city. Our skyline is rapidly changing and more people are moving here every day. According to the latest census, Tampa is the third most populous city in Florida. And it's not hard to see why. With our beautiful weather, our vibrant neighborhoods, and our entrepreneurial spirit, who wouldn't want to plant their roots and watch them grow in our city? But population growth can often result in unintended challenges, such as limited supply and high demand for housing and rising housing costs. Which brings us to our next strategic goal, increasing housing affordability. As a lifelong Tampa resident, I believe everyone should have the chance to live in a place they're proud to call home. And they shouldn't have to worry whether they can continue to afford the roof over their heads. If we want to avoid the pitfalls of other cities where it's nearly impossible to afford a one-bedroom apartment, much less own a home, we have to act now. And we have to work together to ensure there are sufficient housing options for Tampanians at all income levels. As our population grows, we need to balance the scales between housing supply and demand. To accomplish this, we will work with our community partners to add an additional 10,000 housing units by the end of 2027. Establishing this ambitious goal reinforces our mission to be accountable for driving tangible outputs. It also requires us to work creatively across many stakeholders to achieve life-changing results. In addition to developing new housing units, the city will also prioritize the maintenance and repair of existing affordable units. Another way we plan to increase and sustain housing affordability is by initiating the One Tampa Community Land Trust. This land trust will be a new tool for the city to achieve a sustainable solution to housing affordability while preserving the character of our unique neighborhoods. These past months, our One Tampa program was incredibly successful in helping uplift residents during the early stay-at-home period of COVID-19 by activating quickly to help pay rent, mortgage, and essential utility bills. Now we will expand upon that uplifting mission by helping to develop One Tampa as a nonprofit 501c3 organization to be the foundation under which the Land Trust will be governed. The One Tampa Community Land Trust will enable us to more effectively manage, acquire, and distribute buildings and homes to meet the long-term housing needs of our community. For many, owning a home is a part of their American dream. It's a way for them to plant their roots and watch them grow. We want to increase opportunities for generational wealth by providing a realistic and attainable path to home ownership through a wide range of programs, workshops, and services. By investing in these programs, we can make the dream of home ownership attainable for countless Tampanians who live, work, and play in our great city. These past few months, COVID-19 has underscored the fact that housing and shelter are some of our most basic needs. But while many of us were hunkering down at home with loved ones during the Safer at Home order, others in our community had no place to go. The need for homeless services has been undeniable during COVID-19, and we were grateful to work with Catholic Charities and other community partners to establish Hillsborough Hope, a temporary homeless shelter for those with nowhere else to go. The shelter provided life-saving resources to countless homeless individuals in our community. In fact, one individual who was staying at Hillsborough Hope was hired by Ashley Furniture, one of the partners that supplied mattresses for this incredible initiative. But while this project made a difference, the reality is that homelessness will not go away with this pandemic. We are still facing a scarcity of resources and overcrowding in many of our local shelters. To help lift up the most vulnerable members of our community, the city will work with Hillsborough County and nonprofit partners to establish multiple shelter solutions. We will begin with short-term shelters with wraparound services as a pathway to permanent housing. Our goal is to identify long-term solutions to homelessness and to eliminate housing insecurity in our community. To achieve all of these critical housing and shelter goals, we've created a new leadership role responsible for managing and growing the city's community housing initiatives and the dozens of programs and millions of dollars of support that flow through the city. Our next strategic goal has to do with something I've been passionate about since day one, and that's improving our infrastructure and mobility. It's no secret that transportation is our Achilles heel. I often say we're so far behind we think we're first. As our city continues to grow, we need transit that can keep up, because world-class cities deserve world-class transportation. To keep our city moving forward towards a brighter future, we have to address our growing transportation needs. In FY 2021, we intend to substantially complete the Tampa Moves citywide mobility plan. This plan will serve as a roadmap that will identify all new transportation projects over the next 25 years. Projects will focus on improving safety, increasing economic opportunities, promoting sustainability and resilience, making equitable investments across the entire city, and addressing all modes of transportation, especially walking, biking, and high-quality transit services. This plan will be developed using a grassroots process and a listen-first approach to resident input, because we want a transportation system that works for everyone in our community. To build a better, connected city, we also need to create premium transit corridors along major transportation spines in our community. This will allow us to bridge the gap between major economic hubs, including West Shore to downtown and downtown to the University Area Innovative District. In terms of the downtown to University corridor, one opportunity would be to extend and modernize the Tampa streetcar. The city will submit and advocate for state and federal grant applications for construction of the streetcar modernization and extension project and commence the engineering design phase. Along this same corridor, HART will complete the ongoing bus rapid transit study and begin design for the BRT project. The city is also working with HART to complete a transit-oriented development study that will guide land use surrounding this corridor. As our city continues to grow and more people travel on our streets, we also need to think about what's underneath our roadways. Healthy infrastructure is the foundation of a strong city, and it's time we start taking that seriously. Last year, we made history together by passing PIPES, the largest water and wastewater infrastructure plan in our city's history. PIPES is allowing us to finally replace our aging infrastructure after nearly 100 years of use. This will help minimize traffic interruptions due to water main breaks and allow us to take a big step forward towards a more sustainable and resilient future. In FY 2021, we will continue to implement PIPES and make progress for transforming Tampa's tomorrow. And speaking of sustainability, we also want to support green mobility solutions. When we think about transit, we automatically think about cars and buses, but there are so many other ways to get around. By integrating our existing trails and greenways into our transportation network, we can provide a safe and convenient alternative to driving a car. Greenways and trails organically link our community, and I believe that in Florida we should take advantage of any opportunity to be outdoors, to take a walk, or to ride a bike. To better integrate our existing trails and greenways, the city has submitted and is advocating for a federal grant application for an extension of 2.6 miles of multimodal facilities and the Tampa Riverwalk on the west bank of the Hillsborough River, which will result in over 12 miles of contiguous trails connecting Gandy to Ybor City. We will also construct the next 2 phases of the Green Spine and continue planning and design of future phases, Green Artery, and other mobility projects like Florabraska, which will feature an off-street trail. As we explore new and expanded means of mobility, we will also need to focus on improving safety on our roadways. That's why we're integrating Vision Zero into all projects. Our goal is to eliminate traffic deaths and serious injuries, as no one should have to fear for their life on one of our roads or crossing one of our streets. This is a bold plan, but it's a plan we are fully committed to because safety has to be a priority. By planning and constructing complete streets with proven safety elements, we can create a safer transportation system for all. We have a number of goals to improve our infrastructure and mobility because it's one of the most pressing issues facing our city today. To help us achieve our goals, we will deploy technology solutions to mobility challenges, such as smart parking and urban mobility. By embracing innovation and leveraging technology, we can move forward towards a smarter transportation system fit for a 21st century. We've covered a lot of topics here today, and I know we still have a lot of work to do together. But if we truly want to make a difference and transform Tampa's tomorrow, then we have to look at the bigger picture. And that brings me to our last strategic goal, sustainability and resilience. I often say that sustainability and resilience is the glue that keeps it all on together, and it's true. If we want to build a stronger, more sustainable city, then we have to ensure the foundation is in place to weather any storm, meet our growing needs, and lift up every neighborhood in our city as we rise together. Through sustainability and resilience, we strive to promote connected, healthy, and vibrant neighborhoods. Climate change is something that affects every single one of us, and our vulnerable neighborhoods are especially impacted. To tackle this important issue, the city will develop a climate action and equity plan focused on climate preparedness, energy efficiency, and environmental protection. We will also be reviewing all city-owned real estate and identifying areas for targeted sustainability uses, including green space, community gardens, solar alternatives, and much, much more. Because if you lead by example, others will follow. That's why I've asked our staff to review and offer recommendations to the city building code and permitting process that reflect changing hazards and find innovative ways to incentivize green building practices. We want our buildings to be healthy and resilient places. And speaking of leading by example, we also have to look at our own internal policies and procedures. A strong city values its employees' health, safety, and welfare to best serve the community. A strong city also cares for taxpayer assets, which support high-quality services. In an effort to integrate sustainability and resiliency, we will provide training and orientations to City of Tampa staff and implement internal policies that ensure decisions and purchases are made through the lens of sustainability and resilience. The city will also take steps to increase sustainability through our services and at our facilities. One way we will do this is by increasing water conservation and improving water security through our WaterWise collaboration. As evidence of this, the city is working towards a LEED for City certification by the end of the year, and the Tampa Convention Center is also pursuing a LEED designation. And finally, in order to build a strong city and plan for a future, we will strengthen our regional collaboration and resilience. While we often train to respond to emergencies caused by hurricanes and flooding, COVID-19 taught us we have to prepare for the unexpected. The city will increase the coordination and collaboration between regional partners that have shared interests and risks, such as emergency management and homeland defense and security. The City of Tampa will work with key stakeholders to reimagine preparedness efforts through prevention, mitigation, response, and recovery planning. We will also improve connectivity with academic and practitioner partners through robust intern programs, grant opportunities, and technical training. All of these efforts will support our emergency response planning and help us build a stronger, more resilient city. I want to thank you all once again for your time and for the important role you play in transforming Tampa's tomorrow. I know that we are all more committed than ever to taking action on the big issues impacting our community. And with your help, we can lift up every neighborhood and ensure we continue rising together. Despite every challenge, our city has already made major strides towards transforming Tampa's tomorrow, and this is just the beginning. I look forward to working with you to achieve our vision and create a better future for all who live, work, and play in our great city. Thank you.